Straight on?
Yeah.
And good day. Welcome to the Rise Up Hour. This is Mahana Kakis giving you an update today. We have a guest. Now, is it Jason Rudeen?
Rudeen.
Rudeen. I've been saying Rudeen. Okay, Rudeen.
There's literally no N in there.
Okay. Okay. So, hey, I'm just going to make a couple announcements, and we're going to go right into the Rise Up Hour. It is April. Is it really April?
It's April.
Okay. This month has switched right over. And I just want to do a special shout out. Hey, I need to thank Minnesota Recovery Connection for allowing me to use their space on Friday. I did 2 training for naloxone. And I just want to say thank you to Steve from the Hope Network for allowing that to happen. We had a good turnout. And it's just so great to be able to touch one person at a time. I did my first hybrid training, and it worked. So I'm going to try doing a couple more of those. Next time I'm going to have a better notification system. I came up with it, and I thought, can we try this? And like, hey, sure, Mahana. And then I said, hey, MRC, can I use the space? And they said, sure, Mahana. And that's what recovery does. The community works together. They share spaces. They allow things to happen. And I'm part of the PAC committee for MRC. So it's the peer advisory committee. So Minnesota Recovery is really just doing great things. And while I talk about them, I just want to let you guys know, if you need a recovery coach, Minnesota Recovery Connection is the place. Call them up, 612-584-4158. Hey, Bridge, you work there, and hey, what does it cost to get any of these services?
It's free 99.
Free 99.
Zero.
I like that. 0. And then they also have a telephone recovery support, virtual online meetings Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. are the 2 times. And then on Saturday a.m., there's also 11 a.m. Meeting as well. And then a recovery navigator, a recovery coach, a peer-to-peer support is all the same thing. Just it's all different phrases. Yeah. And then I just want to mention something. If you want to volunteer, they are looking for volunteers to do TSR calls. Just go ahead, give them a call. It's a great place to do some of your volunteer work, and they'll find something for you to do. So just throwing that out there. And if you need some family support, hey, Thrive Family Recovery Resources.org is a great place. You can reach out to them. And that number is 844-349-2911. And then I'm just going to mention this. Faith Lutheran Church on 499 Charles Avenue, St. Paul, has a neighborhood mission faith store. You can get free clothing on every Thursday from 12 to 2. And they also have free frozen meals donated by the Ramsey Sheriff's Department. Just want to mention that out there for those in the Frogtown community, because we are WFNU Frogtown Community Radio, 94.1 FM. And then I'm just going to go right into our show a little bit. And you guys, if you want to watch this behind the scenes or have to leave the show for a moment, you can always catch us on Rise Up Our Facebook group, or you can also look us up on Rise Up Our on YouTube. So it's our YouTube channel, behind the scene footage as well. And today, I think there's going to be some people calling in, so I'm going to give the number, and we will see a white light blink, and that is 651-313-5125. That's 651-313-5125. And those of you who love to text, 763-843-4262. That's 763-843-4262. So, Jason, go ahead and tell me about yourself, your journey, and then you have the podcast too. Your because we've had Charles on here, right?
Yes, sir.
Charlie, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Charles Lavore, the one and only. He created the show. I came on episode 97 as a co-host, and it's been a blessing, one of the greatest blessings of my recovery, to be able to be a part of the show, to meet all these interesting people, hear all these great stories, learn about all these different pathways, and to be able to come alongside other people too, supporters and advocates that, or families, victims of loss, all these different types of people we've had on the show. I learned so much from all of them, dude. Just super grateful for that opportunity that I had.
So are you, what was your original pathway? Or are you, I mean, because I've noticed that when talking that you talk about multiple pathways, because we used to be in that box, and isn't it just beautiful? We're all talking about multiple pathways.
Yeah.
Especially those, I've seen it in the 12-step organizations as well, that they're talking about multiple pathways too as well, because they're our brothers and our sisters, and we want anyone just to have recovery. That's what's really about.
Yeah, I mean, I love the enthusiasm, you know, but it's not like everybody talks about all pathways or multiple pathways. And, you know, we got a lot of work to do in that regard to, like, spread the knowledge and let people know that, you know, it's no cookie cutter way. You know, there's not just one way, and everybody's got individualized needs, and, you know, it's up to us. You know, that's why I love Recovery Coach Academy. That's why I love the peer-to-peer support, man, because they teach you about that, how you need to meet people where they're at, help them develop a plan that suits the needs that they have as an individual, and help them come up with ways that they can, you know, go after those goals, and they can figure it out on their own and kind of create their own unique way. Because like you asked about my pathway, I mean, I started in CMA and AA, worked the steps, didn't have God in my life, but, you know, the group wisdom was my higher power, so to speak, and it worked wonderful for a couple of years. And as I progressed and I've continued to learn, you know, that's been the biggest thing with this whole process for me, is I just became thirsty for knowledge. I want to learn about all this stuff. So as a result of that, it's cool because I've been able to dip my toes in a lot of different waters and try all these different pathways and read literature and go to different types of events and meet all these different types of people. That is really just blowing it all out of the water. You know, it's just so much broader and more amazing. There's so much, like, so many layers to my recovery, you know, and it just keeps adding to. I keep learning more, so I keep adding to.
and I like what you're saying, because for me, my recovery was initially 12-step. I went to AA, and I was someone of other resources, of other stigma. Yeah. And the reason I say that is that I say I'm in recovery and I'm an overcomer. I use a different language now. Amen. And for me, that has to work, because I get to rejoice about my recovery. My stigma has changed, the way I look at it, but I know it's one of the most successful programs out there, but I know there's still individuals hurting in that program. And oftentimes, you know, you have old-timers that I've talked to them, and I've had them see things differently, but sometimes you're in that box and you're taught a certain way. Yeah. And for me, you got to go back. I come from a generation where in third grade, my art teacher was allowed to hit us. So we were in a different generational gap, and so I deal with different, methods of individuals in my recovery. Because if I'm dealing with someone who's 20 years old, 30 years old, or 40 or 50, even older than that, there is a different way to look at it. So, what recovery coaching, like you've talked about, when you peel back the onion, you look at different layers. Is a dip your toe in them, and hey, it may not work for me, but I've gone to a couple like sound things, and it's really beneficial. It may not be the greatest thing for me, but I got to experience it, and I got to get into that sound feeling. And for me, I have some neck issues and some vibrational things, and maybe it's not the chronic pain thing for me. But when I get better, I'm going to try that out. So it's those type of things. So what inspires you to continue doing what you do? Because you do the co-host on podcasting, right? Yeah, I do that. Also, Stephen Minister. It's been a while since I've had a care receiver through that. That ministry kind of fizzled out at my church with COVID. Like the demand was less. And I think, too, it seemed like a lot more women were more receptive and engaged in that, than men. Some men, a lot of men would sign up for it, and then they would ghost you, Yeah. But I get it. It's a fear. Yeah, but it's like, it's been... Wait, what was the question? Let's talk about the ministry thing. Go ahead. We'll just kind of go on that. Well, I don't know. It's just... what
inspires you to keep going, doing your thing?
Yeah, just doing your thing.
What inspires me, that's right. I don't know, man. Just being able to be of service is a huge thing, and it benefits me in such a great way, and then I'm just, like, humbled to be able to be somebody that actually has something to offer that's of any value in the world today. You know, I used to be like, I used to work for the devil, dude, you know, and now I work for God, and it's just different to be able to be a light in an otherwise dark world today instead of what I used to be, which was, you know, pretty much just selling death to kids, you know, back before. So
can we go into that for a moment, or it's up to you?
Absolutely.
So our listeners can hear where you were at, and let's do it after a song, because I want to go into a song.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back. Listeners, remember, 763-843-4262 is our texting number, and 651-313-5125 is our live number.
Yeah, let's play a happy song before we get into the dark days. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So they can't hear us when the songs are on.
So we'll do one song, and then you guys talk, and then maybe do back-to-back songs, and then one song. How's that?
Say it again.
So, like, I know we want to break up the songs, so would it be okay if, like, we do this one song, come back, you guys talk, and
Yep.
then we'll, when we go into songs, we'll do back-to-back songs?
And then do a single song.
Yeah, because then I can time it better to how much time we'll have left to end the show with.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And
then
hey,
go to the
behind the
bathroom.
scenes.
Yes, behind the scenes, guys.
What's up?
Yes, Whale Pockets. Make sure you give your website.
Yeah.
And information, how to
and
find
I
you.
want to put out a call to arms for the rap too, you know.
Of course.
Because I know you guys are awesome, and you jumped right on and signed up for that.
Yes, please talk about that.
I need to get. That's my mission
Well, it's
this year. I'm
interesting.
trying to build a team because.
It's Randy who's the head.
Yeah,
But I talked to him, and he was kind of like,
I know.
so. But I feel
got
like
it.
we could
But
really
dude,
blow it
he
up.
won't say no if. Yeah, but trust me, if we started trying to get it off the ground and
We
doing
got
stuff,
go-getters.
he's going to be involved.
Okay.
He's just tried to get it going like numerous times, and people ghost him out.
Okay.
He's discouraged.
Do you- I
And
feel like
plus,
you know
look
him
at
better
him.
than I do, so
And
if you
look at
tell
him. He's
him-
fucking doing so much already.
I know.
I mean, I almost.
But you could be the VP.
I've wondered if he's
and
like-
then we'll be right
Maybe
with
he
you.
did too much taking on, so maybe he should just like
Or
step
like,
aside.
I've wondered if he's just like, you know, that's fucking gonna steal his thunder, so he wants to either
He doesn't want to
be the
distract
head
from
of it
that.
or
Yeah.
I don't know for sure.
Maybe you should be the head of it. How do you be the head of it?
I don't know. There is no head. You're supposed to be like
A team.
everybody's equal
Yeah, but
value.
then
But you said he kind of leads it or something.
look at that.
Yes, you watch us. Just mind your piece.
You're
Tell
right.
after the hour.
Yes.
Oh
Hey,
my
you guys ready?
goodness.
Are you back?
Oh.
Ooh.
Okay, you're on.
So now we're going to go into a deep talk for a moment, okay?
Yeah, but first, that song right there, that's like one of my best feel-good songs. I love that song. I listen to that song quite often, and it just like instantly lifts my spirits when I hear them chimes and the whole vibe of that song. It's a whole vibe.
And what's the name of the song?
It's A Beautiful Morning by the Rascals.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's old school.
And old school. Well, hey, there's nothing wrong with old school, let me tell you.
Hell no.
So let's go into it. I just want to hear, and on the show, it's up to you what you want to share.
Right.
But just go ahead and talk about the darkness that you were in, and then that leads you up to this whole recovery journey you're on. Because you do give back to the community quite a bit. I mean, I'm really aware of that. You may not think as much as that, but I've watched a little bit about you, read a little bit about you, and
You're everywhere.
He's everywhere. Recovery everywhere,
Right.
and you speak recovery, and that's beautiful.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel it's my responsibility to do what I can, you know, because it was freely given to me. You know, people were willing to step up and step in and help me out. But yeah, my darkness, okay. You know, life, I was, I guess, jaded from a young age because I know I went through a lot of difficult things. You know, my mom almost died. She got in a really bad accident when I was a kid, and then I had to go stay with family members, and I ended up getting molested repeatedly by a cousin of mine and getting moved around from one uncle's place to another, and I think I was like 5 at the time, so I really like put that in a box. I didn't remember that until I was like 13. But then when I was like 8, my mom got with a guy. She had my brother, and then when I was 10, she had my sister. And that whole entire time, they had a really like toxic, volatile relationship. It was either domestics at home, parties in the house when, you know, school nights, or mom was gone at the bar and Dave was kicked out, and, you know, and he was hiding out in his car on the street, like spying on our house. It was creepy. And I remember I was just taking care of these babies, man, from the time I was like 8 till I was 13. So when she kind of got on the wagon and started being mom again, I took full advantage. I was running away, I was acting out, I was putting her through it, and I hooked up with other broken kids, you know, other people who were jaded. And I mean, it progressed very quickly for me. It started with weed and alcohol and cigarettes at 11, and then by the time I was 13, I tried shooting up for my first time. By the time I was 15, I was selling multitude of drugs: cocaine, meth, you know, acid, shrooms, weed. And I mean, I learned real quick how I could get mine for free and probably dole some out, because, you know, everybody loved the candy man. And that was I don't know if I was more addicted to getting high or to the hustle or to the attention, but I was addicted to all of it. You know, I felt some sense of power in that I had what people wanted, and that I could kind of dictate my own terms and what I was going to do. And, you know, if I didn't like somebody, like, I could make them wait, and I could kind of like mess with them, you know what I mean? So it was a whole thing, dude, that I struggled with off and on until I was 36, you know, like always in and out of the game. You know, intravenous drug use was when I would really delve into the darkness, was the thing that would isolate me from people and bring me to the point of like suicidal ideation, wanting to die, and not feeling safe in the world, or having any kind of like self-sufficiency or trust in myself, my ability to do good in life. I always thought I was just always going to be this way, you know. I didn't know there was another way to be.
Yeah.
I did have kids early. I lost my virginity when I was 17, and I think that I got her pregnant the first time we had sex, you know.
What?
Yeah, so I got a son, Tristan, and then a daughter, Audrey. They're 2 years apart. Had my son when I was 18 and my daughter when I was 20. When I was 21, we split. Well, I should say I left without saying anything. There was no conversation had. I had months of feeling like she checked out or didn't love me anymore. And then I made it just a stupid, impulsive decision. Go figure, because my whole life was stupid, impulsive decisions, right? But I packed all my stuff in my truck and I left. And I didn't plan on that, meaning that I was leaving my kids, but it did ultimately alienate me from them. You know, obviously there's a lot of trust that got damaged with that whole thing, and I tried for months to get them to like let me see my kids. They wouldn't even answer the phone, and then when they finally did, it was like an Easter Sunday. They said I could come over at like 5. I think I was there for 20 minutes before my daughter even came out from behind her grandma's leg, because she was only a year old. My son was all over me the second I got there. You know, he was dad. He was 3. He didn't know it. Well, anyway, once my daughter came out, not 10 minutes later, a timer goes off in the kitchen, and they're like, "You got to go."
Oh.
I completely didn't realize that my foot was in the door. What a blessing that was, right? Like, that was 3 months probably of calling every day, numerous times a day, before they would even answer the phone. And I had my foot in the door. And instead, I remember getting in my truck and screaming at the top of my lungs that I will never put them in a position to hurt me like that again. Like, how selfish am I, you know? And I peeled out of there, and I tore up my dashboard, and, you know, almost hit a mailbox peeling out of there, and I never turned back. I moved up north, and I just went deep into the bottle and into banging dope, you know, like for the next couple years. So it really progressed like that. And from that point on, losing my children just was this driving factor in my low self-esteem, in my trust issues with other people, and my ability to have relationships in general, whether it was at work or, you know, romantically. Everything was tainted from that point by this event, but, you know, by the fact that I had all this like pride and ego surrounding it, where I felt like I was the victim. Pour me another drink, right?
Yeah.
But really, it escaped me, my part, and it escaped me. But I think to a point, it escaped me. You know, when we talk about it, I would get instantly on the defensive. I would lose my shit. I would get upset. Pardon my French. Sorry. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, I couldn't admit my part. And really, it just turned into a self-destructive path, dude. I'm surprised I made it through it alive. Lots of ODs, a few suicide attempts.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting when you're talking to me, you know, talking to us on the show, is that you recognize that you had your foot in the door.
Yeah.
That you saw that was such a beneficial thing. Instead, our selfish ways,
Right.
And you let that last for so long. And now let's let listeners hear this. Where are you at with your kids?
Oh, so I don't know. I was a couple years clean. I got to see my son, my oldest son, but it was just one visit. I got to take him to breakfast and show him where I lived, and it was cool. It was awkward. I did get his email, so I still send him updates. I send him emails on a, you know, semi-regular basis with photos. I always include photos and things like that so you can see what's going on with his little brother and stuff, but they don't know each other. And my daughter I have yet to ever talk to.
Okay, so that's it's still us.
But I did do an amend, and when I got to see him, I gave him the letter, and it was for both of them. You know, when I first started doing my amends to them, we decided during the 8th step that I should write a letter, because we didn't know if I'd ever get the opportunity to make the amend. And then I had it on my wall for like over a year. And yeah, we were sitting in my room talking when I realized, what am I doing, dude? I got this thing right here. And so I gave him the envelope and the letter that was the ultimate, after 5 drafts, you know, of my sponsor shooting down my attempts at making an amend letter. That was the final one, right? And I gave it to him. So, I mean, did he give it to his sister? Did she ever read it? Or how does she feel about knowing that I'm out here? Or, you know, does she know that I own my stuff, but that I'm doing better now? And that, you know, I don't know. But I trust God's grand plan. And I'm just like, one thing recovery taught me is I'm only responsible for the effort, not the outcome, right? So
yes.
I need to put in the effort. And I think that's where the heart change happens anyway. You know, like the important thing is the heart change, right?
Yes, and it sounds like your heart's been changed. I mean, well, look what you do now. I mean, so and if she's following Dad, or sign it as they at least know what you're doing right now, and that's an effort. And and now you have other kids, right?
Yeah, I got my youngest, Wyatt. He's 10. He just turned 10, and I'm in his life. You know, see that my last hurrah, selling drugs for the Mexican cartel and being just strung out and living at my mother's, because I had my marriage had fallen apart, you know, because of my drinking. I hadn't touched a hard drug in 8 years, but my drinking was out of control. Destroyed my marriage with my youngest son's mother. Ended up going back to my mom's in 2013. That's humble pie, right? 33 years old now. I'm living in Mounties.
I know that feeling. Going back to my parents for a while.
Yeah, in a tiny little room, man. Smaller than this, probably about half the size of this room right here. And, you know, it was just crazy, man. It was crazy. And I ended up getting back into dope, but I did, thank God, get recovery. Because if I didn't get recovery, I don't think I'd be in Wyatt's life. I actually know I would be in prison for the next number of years right now, as a matter of fact, because somehow God saw it fit to give me another chance and not send me away for 111 months or whatever it was that I was up against for my possession charges and my distribution charges and everything that I was facing. So, yikes, yeah, that's a lot. But he we have an amazing relationship now, dude. I thought I was a good dad before, but I mean, I was really, the Rugrats probably raised my kid more than me. He was little, you know. I'd change his diaper and feed him and stuff, but it was like, go downstairs. I'd go down there and change his Rugrats tapes in the VCR because I'd be upstairs making money, selling the dope, you know, getting high. And thinking that I was being a dad, you know, but now it's like so different. And I can take these things I learned in my recovery and apply them to my parenting. So
yes,
I'm trying to teach my son these things.
And so if anyone has any questions, because I did get a, I'm going to do this after we play a song, because I did get someone that had a question for you.
Okay.
But 651-313-5125, or you can text me at 763-843-4262. One more time, calling number is 651-313-5125. And we're about to play two songs back to back. And then I'm going to quickly read the disclaimer, okay, Bridge? So WFNU LP is a volunteer-run station made up of many different community voices. Each program expresses one aspect of this diversity, not the views of WFNU, Frogtown tuned in as a whole.
I totally slipped.
I think it's okay.
Can't use any swear words.
No, I think the SH. Well,
No, that's
this will be a good opportunity for me to learn how to figure that out. But anyway, I gotta use the restroom. I'll be back.
Yeah,
do it up.
I'll be right back. There's two back-to-back songs, so we should be good till I get back.
I like the way he spoke about his addiction, not just like the drug itself, but attention, power, and excitement.
And when we come back, can we start with that key moment, the gift of desperation, the
Yes.
moment of surrender, when you were like, okay, I gotta do this.
Yeah.
That would be great. I don't know. That's my time. I'll be right back.
So is that your personal cell number that you give out
Yeah.
for the text? That's brave, Mohana. Everybody under the sun will have your number.
I've had people reach out to me and ask for help, though.
Oh, yeah. Dude,
Literally.
that's awesome.
I've had to coach some people that way.
So people know that it's yours, or are they just like grabbing for straws? They're like, this was like a text number on a recovery show.
Yeah.
And I was
I've
hoping,
given
can
my
you
number.
help me with recovery?
Yeah, I've given my number out and stuff like that. They've said that. And
Wow. That is so cool.
We're not on. Okay.
No, I know. I was asking that earlier. I'm like, is this junkies like a setting the sun? I love this. These songs, dude, are really like important to me. I wanted to have this one, but it was like it would have needed to be bleeped out so much it would have just sucked to listen to. You know what I mean? But then I laughed and went, well, it's not like there's any shortage of songs.
You got your friends listening in?
Huh?
You got your friends listening in?
I don't know if I think like I got a sponsee that's listening.
And did you give them WFNU.org? That's how they can listen in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I told them the frequency too, but my girlfriend lives in Fridley, which ain't even far, and she said that the radio is really staticky.
Yeah, just do WFNU.org and push the
So,
listen button.
yeah, I said you're probably not going to get good reception on the dial unless you're like in the St. Paul
Yeah,
area.
so tell her to do WFNU.
No, I did.
Oh, okay,
I did.
cool.
Yeah, I gave her both, but she was like, she tried the radio first.
Yeah, I don't blame. Yeah.
And she was like, oh, it's staticky. And I said, well, just do it online, because I was like, I don't think it's like the strongest.
Hey, all of our
frequency.
listeners, to see if anyone sent any messages. Okay.
Right into the next song. You guys are so funny. You're both on your phones.
Okay.
You can talk
He
to the
mentioned-
people. Hi, here.
Okay, so
Hi.
he mentioned saying that his mother is at 33. Is she around to see how he's doing now?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's been helping her a lot.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
that's a cool
That's a
question.
whole-
So we got two things going on here. I'm going to ask the two questions.
For sure. Let's start with the moment it changed.
Yes, and then we're going to go into the questions.
Okay. And I do want to, at the end, definitely get in the team thing. If we can.
The team thing.
We're still got a half hour.
What
We're
is
good.
the team thing?
With Randy.
I suppose the time just flies
Every
by.
project,
on
it
us.
does every single time.
Okay, yes.
The
Right, yeah,
project-
well, I'll support
that will
that.
end it
Okay?
with that.
No.
And how to get in.
Yes, I'm supportive of anything that's nonprofit.
Yes,
Not to fill pockets.
right.
Donna. It's so funny.
Well, that's funny because so many podcasters collectively, like it seems like more podcasters are trying to monetize their podcasts than are not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're all trying to do that, but like one thing about us is we want this content to always remain free,
And
it's a service opportunity for us.
Yes.
Like period.
Yeah. Well, I've been judged because I'm doing this, and I'm like, it's a service, 12 step. It's step 12.
Right.
Because some people say, you're announcing it, I'm like,
Okay, that's that whole ridiculousness of you're promoting. No, it's
the
attraction.
traction. That's where I forgot to say that in my
Just
thing. It's
anytime
traction.
you get any stuff about that, you say,
It's crazy.
I'm attracted.
Yeah, but that's just back to what we were talking about before, where it's like these people are old-fashioned, they're set in their
Or
ways.
I've been in closed meetings where they said I can't talk when I was invited one. The guy who saved his life was an alcoholic. Had trouble with that, really trouble. Alcohol's not my issue. Saved his life. He said, why would we want to close him out? This is the guy that saved my life. You wanted them to understand that. We can't keep these people out. We have to open our rooms.
Right.
But you guys, that's baby steps. That's where I'm
Yeah.
trying to come in. Like, this is a big deal that
I'm
I'm
coming
going to be
today.
doing. I know this could be a big deal that I'm doing it. I don't know, because they like me there, and if they allow me to do this here, I mean that's could hopefully.
That song's about
Yep,
done.
here we go. You guys
It's
ready?
almost done.
Sweet.
So, you know both songs we play, right?
Mention them, and you're on.
So, hey, talk about the two songs I just played.
Oh my god. I love these songs. The one that was just on, that's Digg by Incubus. That's all about, that we all have something deep in us that, we need help to dig it out. And we need help from others. It's all about connection and the power of it. So it's crazy. Like how there's lines in that song that speak to like how we're always the last ones to know what's going on with ourselves. And so he says like, if something starts bringing up, something out of me that is ugly, then help me dig it out, like, so he's saying, call me on it, let me know, because I need you to,
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And then the one before that was Neil Young, Needle and the Damage Done, pretty self-explanatory, and that's always meant a lot to me since I was a young lad. And it was that, like, at the end of it, when he says, every junkie's like a setting sun, it's kind of like, we're all beautiful people. It's in there somewhere.
It is. Let me tell you, I look at the beauty no matter what.
Yeah, it's in there.
And even in the darkness, I look at it, and I'm going to be upfront, and I get emotional sometimes when I talk about this.
Good.
In recovery, we're beacons of light. In the darkness, no matter how dark it is, we're that beacon. And sometimes we hit that rock that glistens, or we hit a piece of glass out there, and it shines back and it gets brighter.
Yeah.
Because those are the ones that are recovering.
Yep.
And we can light up a room
It's
in the
true.
darkness. And,
It's true.
And amen to that. And so, Rich wants to go into what are we going to talk about now? The exciting part.
I just want to know that moment through all the darkness, because I also 17 years of darkness for me.
Yeah.
And I remember a specific moment when I just realized I need to change and surrender and just do the things. When was that moment for you?
I mean, I've had numerous, but the clincher, the one that I would changed everything. I really didn't get high anymore after was basically a drug-induced psychosis. If you've listened to my story before, you probably heard this story 100 times, but guess what? You get to hear it again, and I'm going to really try not to swear because we're on the radio. But yeah, I did.
This is a
censored.
Yes.
Yeah, this is censored.
This is the censored version. I did way too much, and I was in a psychosis for like 16 hours, and it ended. You know, I had a lot of hallucinations through that psychosis that progressed. They kept changing, but they were auditory. I mean, literally, I could feel the presences of these people. I was having conversations with these people. Nobody was there. I was by myself, and it was this whole thing that kept changing. And in the end of it, it was like I thought that my ex-wife was there with her fiance at the time. They've been married now for 5 years. Congrats again, guys. And you know, they had my son. Mind you, they're not really there. They had my son outside, and they want me to like come out to the garage, and then like open the garage and come outside to talk to him, and then they wouldn't come out, and then I was like, I just felt like they were toying with me, and it really broke me down to like some kind of really like animalistic level. I ended up on my knees in my mom's living room with this big Rambo knife up to my neck, and I wanted to throw my body down and let this knife go through my neck. And I remember I couldn't do it, and I was wailing like a dying animal. I was yelling, please help me, and I thought that I was asking God to help me kill myself. Like that was my intention with the words when I was saying them, but he answered me in a different way.
Yes,
you know?
he did.
I put the knife down, and I picked up the phone, and I called a guy that I knew from the program, and he gave me some simple directions. You know, he said to write this stuff down. He told me what I needed to do. You got to call your job. You got to let your secrets go.
Amen.
You know, your secrets got you all twisted up. And then he's like, and then you got to tell him what you're doing too. And I ended up getting fired from that job. And you know what's weird? The power of that honesty and accountability and the weight it lifted off my shoulders, I felt amazing about that. It did not hurt my feelings one iota that he told me 2 days later that they were going to let me go. I was like, that's cool.
That's cool.
Because I felt like free.
You were free.
Oh, yeah.
And see,
it was amazing.
And there's that miracle. I'm going to tell you something. You know, the honesty, the integrity.
Yeah.
Hey, you have that integrity. You get to go, at least it's out there. It's done.
Yes.
It's over. You know, integrity is a huge thing in this recovery thing.
Oh, it's heavy.
And look at it. Look where you're at now. And here's a couple listeners. I like the way he spoke about of addiction, and not just the drug itself. Attention, power, excitement. So, because you really did talk about that, and that's what I really respected about you. And one of the other things that when you were speaking about that in your earlier years, I think it was also control. You got control when you were dealing and doing that stuff, and then it was also you were able to have control of who your friends were.
Right.
And attention. You got to have attention because you weren't getting that.
Right.
And the attention you wanted, not the improper attention. And then he mentioned staying at his mother's at 33. Is she still around? And is he to see how he is doing now? Is your mom?
Oh, yeah.
How's your mom think about you now?
So if you know me, you know this, but I love that you asked about my mom. Thank you. That actually means a lot to me because it isn't all about me, and that's just really shows what type of person you are. You're a caring person. Thanks. But yeah, mom's doing good. She actually was diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia last summer, and then she got really sick, and then she needed to get a bone marrow transplant that she got right after Christmas this last winter. And from the day of her transplant, she needed 100 days round-the-clock care. By the grace of God, my recovery, the places it has led me, I've had abundance in my life now, financial abundance that I never knew ever this last couple of years with my new career. So I was able to take layoff and provide care along with my brother and sister help too with that, for the whole winter. Like I literally just went back to work full time. Last week was my first full week. So
congratulations.
What a timely question as well. She's just coming to the end of her 100 days. I couldn't hold it off anymore. Construction season is upon us now, and it's time to get back to, what I do. I direct traffic for a full-time job. That's how I make money. But yeah, she's doing great. She's had no complications. God has been
God is good, right?
super good when it comes to lifting mom up out of that place, and hopefully she will be 100% leukemia free here shortly. She's about to get on the 4th. So what is it today, the 3rd?
Yeah.
Tomorrow she gets a bone marrow biopsy again, and she only had on her last biopsy like a very minuscule amount, almost a non-existent amount of leukemia.
Oh, so it took place. It took, though, when she did the...
Yeah, well, see, they basically clean your whole system out and then replace it with a donor cells.
Yeah,
which
my
then
nephew had that.
Yeah, your body will start to duplicate the donor cells.
Oh, great.
So she's got to, grow essentially a whole new immune system.
Yep.
But there was a trace, just a minuscule trace
That's
of
beautiful.
leukemia that was still in her that she turned up in the last biopsy. So they're weaning her off of the artificial immune system, and in hopes that the donor cells will take over and just push that little minuscule piece out, and she will be leukemia free. But I mean, she's been doing so good. I have no doubt in my mind that leukemia is as good as gone. But just so you know, there's this little trace of
Well, and I'm just going to give you an example. The difference is my nephew, it didn't take at all. Hers is taken, so there's that beautiful...
Wow.
Yeah, so we lost him, and he had a 3-year struggle. The difference is there's a take.
I'm sorry.
And yeah, it's hard, but he went to be with his father, who we lost to. We'll never know if it was undercover or overdose or whatever. We lost him to drugs, but he went back to his father, and beautiful place in heaven. So I truly know he's in a better place.
Yeah.
But your mom, I feel like she's gone through this. You get to walk through that journey, and that's the beauty of recovery.
Yeah.
And she gets to be with you. And then here's the other remark that
I got to baptize her too a couple years ago.
Oh, what? Oh my God! Okay, do you hear that, everyone? That's what recovery does. And here's another one. Prayers to your guest that he gets to know his daughter. He is a blessing of a man. Hearts and prayers to you.
Thank
Okay.
you, thank you.
So people are listening, and they're just loving you. And
Appreciate it.
so Jason, what are some of these other things that you are involved in? I just want you to mention a couple of your other organizational things that you do.
Okay, so I think I obviously talked about the Way Out podcast. It's like the most amazing blessing in my
So
life.
how does someone listen to your show?
We're literally like on everything. You could look it up on
Just
Alexa.
Way Out podcast?
You could look it up on Alexa. You could look it up with Google, Hey Google, or whatever. My watch just went off when I said that. Stop it. Don't talk. We also have a website, www.wayoutcast.com. And we're on all the platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio, everything you can think of, really basically. So check it out. And then also, like I mentioned earlier briefly, I'm Stephen Ministry, which is one-on-one Christian care. It's peer-to-peer support, the peer support specialist stuff, the recovery coaching stuff that we've learned. It's the exact same thing, except with a faith element.
Okay, with the faith element. Okay.
Yeah, so it teaches you how to pray effectively for people, how to help them strengthen their connection with God, and then that's something that I had to train for 6 months for through my church. It was a blessing. It was really similar to Recovery Coach Academy, just with the faith element. And then the Minnesota Recovery Advocacy Project is something that we're trying to get enough volunteers to get that going and off the ground.
And how does someone sign up for Minnesota Recovery Advocacy? Because I believe I signed up, and Rach.
You did. You guys both did, because you're awesome. Thank you. And I really hope that we can build a bigger team, because then we can start to work together and really make some real changes in the legislative and on the grassroots level.
That's where I really want to make changes, let me tell you.
Yeah, but on the grassroots level too, just whatever needs the community has, and that's the beauty of it. We try to find out. Recovery Advocacy Project tries to do community listening sessions where the community can let us know what they see, what needs are needing to be met in the community,
Just
and then we can go after those goals.
Just like we want to do it with coaching, we
Yeah.
want the community to coach us.
Right.
We're asking them, what can we coach them on?
Right.
Yeah, and I like
Except
that.
with the coaching, it's on an individual level
Exactly.
where you
You do
meet
that.
them where they're at and find out their individual needs, right, and then help them build their own unique plan for recovery. This is like on the community level.
Yeah, I like that.
Larger
Hey-
scale. But anyway, it's recoveryvoices.com is the website, and if you go to it, there's right away when it pops up, there's a button that says join the movement. If you click that, you can sign up. You do it. You enter your state and your zip code and all that stuff. So then you'll get connected to our I guess
Minnesota.
our chapter, Minnesota chapter, and you'll get an email. You'll get response back from that. But that's the first step, is going to that website, and also if you want to learn more about it, that's where you can do so. So go check it out, recoveryvoices.com, and sign up today.
Yes, and we will do that. And we're going into our next song. What is the name of your last song, real quickly?
The last
Lean on
one.
Me.
Oh, Lean on Me. Hey, I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. If you don't know it,
That's an emotional song.
"Lean on Me" by Bill Withers, and that song, man, that is what we do
Yeah.
in recovery, and that is also what I need people to do for me sometimes.
And you know what? I'm going to just make this quick statement about that as we
Do
play
it.
I've never heard this song in recovery, but I've heard it prior to recovery a lot, and I get emotional now and think about
Yes.
recovery.
Yes.
Never thought about that.
It's always
Holy cow. Let's go ahead and play that one. Ooh, that's going to get me going. That's what I need today is emotional. I'm already a wreck today.
It's so good.
Oh, yeah. We can even play that another.
I swear, I was sitting there for like a half an hour just going crazy, like, how do I pick 4 songs?
I know.
And then that MGK one, dude, like in my early recovery, was such a biggie for me. But it was more for a weirder reason, like a darker reason. Right? Like, it brought me to that mental headspace and that emotional space so that I was in the worst parts of it. And that was like, he died. He kills himself at the end of that song. So it's like, I'm lucky that's not me.
Yeah.
Like, that song just serves as a reminder of where I don't want to be again.
Right.
Because it just hits me all over my feels.
For the
And I hate Machine Gun Kelly, but that song's powerful.
I'll leave it. Is it loud? Yeah, I can hear it.
I was like, did you cut it
oh,
out?
what'd you do? It's okay. I don't want the red too much, but this is good. So I get what
I'm like in La La Land.
I get what you meant when I did your show or whatever. I afterwards processing, I'm like, yep, I get why people ask for a part 2, because I felt like I spent so much time in my experience and the negative stuff. I wish I would have spent more time.
And we're doing that,
on
which is good.
all the things I do now. I didn't even go into all like that. That's why
See,
I wanted that's why
today
I
it was hard
to
to
that moment. where it
because
changed.
we're looking at each other like, when is the moment? Because we're trying, because you have a fulfillment of that, and it's hard to process that, especially in it's like with songs. And what's turned out to be interesting about this show, I'm going to say this: having someone like you come on is a really big blessing, and I'm going to tell you why. Because you get to talk about this darkness, and people are hearing it, but here you are reaching out to people, and that's why the guy's asking about your family, and you get some of these questions. Oh, another message.
And what's cool too is, I listened to Ashley from NAMI. President.
Yeah.
So I've listened to her story. I'm like, damn, I wish I would have listened to this before mine, because she talks about all the great things that she's, how she got into NAMI, how that just like,
Well, I had
you
to,
can be like,
I had to
super
make
nobody
sure.
and be somebody.
I did that with you too, though.
I don't feel
I pulled you.
You did.
That way. I was like, talk about this, talk about that.
And I just feel like I went on there.
No, we need to hear that part too.
You do. It is. Because
That
people
part's
need to hear that.
important
But
too.
the more important part is how I finally changed it.
Hey.
Because me talking about my death when I
I'm
died.
okay with it. It's fine.
Because
but-
when I talk about my death part, look what I did at that when I did my
Yeah.
my thing. I
Yeah.
talked about the darkness.
Yeah.
I really did at that meeting.
No, but it's like I don't know
Have
how.
you
why
been
I
on
went
our
into-
show yet?
No.
Are you gonna?
Well, yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Did you sign up?
No, I haven't signed up. I don't know anything.
Oh.
I'll say you or Char. Who's
It's up to you, man. if you want to do it with me, I'm booked out till June. Charles might be able to get to you sooner.
Yeah,
I'll reach out to Charles tonight.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Reach out to him.
Because how did I do when I talked in front of everyone?
The big one?
Yeah.
Great.
Because I
came up in tears.
You can reach out to him personally, or you can just do share@wayoutcast.com. Email that.
Yeah.
Share@wayoutcast.com.
All y'all listening.
Yeah, well, I should probably start that out too. Because that's for guests, you know?
Yeah.
If people want to.
Because have you heard the song by Colin Scott, Dancing on My Own? The slower version?
I don't know.
What is that? What do you mean?
Because I'm going to tell you about it.
Is that going to be the one that you pick? When
That's a song, yeah, because I'll tell you
why.
I'll tell you why. Because that one in my recovery, it's myself seeing it dance or something else, it's letting go of that whole ending.
It's Tom Scott.
Colin Scott.
You guys ready?
You're going to have to send it.
Yeah.
Live.
Okay, we are live. Okay, we got emotional back here. Okay, and gee, everyone sending you a message. Okay, okay. Hey, people are just saying, tell him thank you. We're loving him. And do we have what?
6 minutes.
Oh, we got 6 minutes left, you guys. So if anyone wants to send any messages or call in live, 651-313-5125. That's 651-313-5125, 763-843-4262. That's text number, 763-843-4262. And then, hey, I don't mind sharing shows. So when you're talking about your podcast, if someone wants to be, who's listening on the show, wants to be on your show and share their story, how do they reach you?
Well, me and Charles, we kind of do our own thing when it comes to interviews. So it's like I always say, if you want Charles' interview, email the show. Email it to share, like the word share, at wayoutcast.com, and that's the email address for that. And then you can get on the calendar that way with him. But if you wanted to talk to me, then you'd probably be better off just sending me a Facebook message or Instagram or something. Find me on socials, hit me up personally, and we can schedule something.
Yes, and if you guys have a tough time with that, you can just send an email to the riseuphour@gmail.com.
Yeah, there you go.
Go ahead at the riseuphour@gmail.com. I'll forward that to him. And if, like I said, if anyone's any recovery resources, forgot to know where to get it at, we will refer you to those as soon as possible. So let's talk about some of the cool stuff that's going on. It sounds like you're really active in the community.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I obviously continue to do the show, and I get out and speak at treatment centers sometimes, meetings. I'll go speak at meetings, even every once in a while, the occasional family support type meeting. I've spoke for Thrive a couple times, Al-Anon a couple times. So it's just cool, man, to be able to be of service and go out and meet people and it's funny because when you share your story, then as uncomfortable as it is, when you're done, people feel like they know you, and then you're approachable now, and then they'll come up to you, and then you get to hear their stories, and like I said, it's a blessing to be able to offer something of value to the world around me, man. And I know too, by sharing, I'm also opening that door for other people to be there for me. If you're quiet and you're trying to look like a guru or something, and you're not being honest about the way that you struggle, then nobody knows that you need support. And trust me, I need all the help I can get all the time.
and I'm just going to say this. Next week, I'm going to mention who we're coming on, and then we're going to thank you in the very end. Next week, we are going to have someone very special, a poet. Joseph Green, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Joseph, you know Joseph Green?
Yeah, I just had him on the show.
Yeah, so
He's
Joseph
amazing.
Green, I'm so excited, and he was with Tipping the Scale, awesome movie.
Tipping the Pain Scale.
Yeah, Tipping the Pain Scale.
It's not out for public release yet, you guys, but there's a showing coming up. If you're from Minnesota, Randy's doing, and with the Hope Dealers, they're doing another screening of that very soon. I think April 29th.
Yes, I think so.
Yep, I'll pull it.
And then I'm going to mention this too. I wanted just to do a shout out.
Or the 26th.
Yeah, and then I'm just going to do a shout out to another person. There's someone that's going to be on our show again. His name is Christopher. And Christopher, I just want to make sure I say this right. Congratulations, Christopher, if you're listening. He's got 34 years of recovery in right now.
We got 1 minute.
And he's got a great journey. And last thing I'm going to say, everyone that's listening out there, thank you for being our supportive listeners. And I just got to say this, Jason Rudeen, wait.
Rudeen.
Jason Rudeen.
You got it. There you go.
Rudeen. There,
That's
that's
it.
it.
That's how I say
Thank
it.
you for being our guest today on this Rise Up Hour.
Absolutely.
And we're going to have you back again sometime and continue on our stories.
Anytime.
And just, because I'd like to talk about how people continue in the recovery. And because people, hear you once, then I like people come back later in the future and say, oh my gosh, you're still doing the recovery
Still
story.
doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And you guys, I messed that up. It's the April 27th is the showing of Tipping the Pain Scale that's coming up.
Yep.
Awesome.
If Bridge knows where it is, I don't know.
I'll post it.
We'll post it.
All right, cool.
So thank you, everyone. And hey, Bridge, can I just say this real quick? Another special thank you for Bridge. Today she's going to be doing her training at the Fridley location at 3 o'clock.
Yep.
So she's going to be doing a naloxone training. I'm going to go watch her and support her. And that's huge, just so you know that, because that's a really important thing to get out there. And I'm so excited for her. So if anyone needs to get a naloxone training, come out to the Fridley location. That's the Al-Anon. Is it Al-Anon or Al-Anon?
Al-Anon.
I hear some places say Al-Anon, some people say Al-Anon. I mean, it's just...
No, the buildings are always Al-Anon. Al-Anon is the family support meetings.
Okay, there we go. Thank you for...
You got it, big
See,
boy.
I love
Really,
that.
I'm
Oh,
excited.
you guys have a great day. The Rise Up Hour next Sunday, 1 o'clock, everyone.
And we're good.
We're good. Woo. Another good show.
That's cool. That just flew by way too
I
fast.
did. I
Hey,
know.
somebody just
You're
said,
like, I hate it.
someone just said another great show. Okay, well, I like that.
That's awesome. It's nice
you
to
know what's
know.
weird? A lot of these people, I don't know numbers. They just send messages. And it gets kind of crazy because I have like a lot of no numbers, but little tidbits of messages.
Yeah.
So I go through them and I go, oh yeah, this is from that, or this is from that. It's kind of cool.
So we'll do pictures. I don't
Yep.
know if you want to do bathroom breaks or anything.
And then you're going to rush, right?
And then I got to zip over to my place.
I should pee. And then we can do pictures.
Thank you, Britt. Are you nervous?
Okay, I'm very nervous.
Don't be
I'm
nervous.
Okay. I'm going to have you be my observer and please raise
It's
your hand.
281 pound, right?
Yep, it's on the door. I have to remember that one
It's
too.
on the door.
He's great.
He's great.
I think he's actually nervous. I love that.
Yeah, it makes me feel like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one that gets
Yeah,
anxiety all the
nervous.
time. Yes. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching.
Hey, thank you for watching, everyone. I feel like I've overdone it, but that's okay lately.